Hi, I'm Roger Mashad. At Franklin Templeton Investments, we believe that citizens need to be informed about the resources that can help make higher education more affordable. That's why we're proud to support programming produced by the Caucus Educational Corporation and their partners in public television.
Getting students ready for college. Next on Caucus, New Jersey.
Funding for this edition of Caucus, New Jersey has been provided by NJ Best, New Jersey's 529 College Savings Plan. Turn a dream into a degree. The New Jersey Education Association. Wells Fargo. Suez. Ready for the resource revolution. Holy Name Medical Center in Teaneck, New Jersey. Healing begins here.
QualCare Inc., a managed care company administering health plans that care about your health care.
And by Cohn Resnick, Accounting, Tax, and Advisory, where forward thinking creates results. Promotional support provided by NJ.com, Small News, Big News, True Jersey, and by Commerce Magazine.
Hi, I'm Steve Adubato. You know, sometimes students are unprepared for the college experience they're going to face. And here in our studio to discuss exactly what students do need to do to get ready for the college experience, we have 4 experts on the topic. First, we have Arthur Taylor, who is Executive Director of the College Readiness Programs at Essex County College. Dr. Yesenia Medas, who is Executive Director of the Center for Student Success at the New Jersey Council of County Colleges. Stacy Tyndall is a senior at the Newark Early College High School at Westside High School in beautiful Newark, New Jersey. And finally, Eddie Mungiello is a history and art history teacher at Eastside High School, also at Newark. That is in the Ironbound section of Newark, New Jersey, right?
Yes, sir.
Listen, I want to talk about the fact that very often, Arthur, students enter or are in a position to enter college and they're not ready, and people are sitting there watching us on public television, files saying, how could that be the case? They knew they were going to be going to college. How does that happen?
Well, I think that one of the things that they don't have when they get into college is the preparation, and it isn't something that they're really trained, you know, or taught. They don't get it from the home, the environment, and so forth. And what we try to do in our program is to get into the high schools early.
How early?
We go into high schools in 10th grade, 11th, mostly 11th, 10th grade.
What are you looking for?
We're looking for students who have the potential and are willing to give it a try. We don't eliminate. We don't eliminate based on any particular cutoff scores. We give an accurate place or test score to determine what their skills levels are, so that we know where we have to start in preparing that student. But once the student, you know, says that I want to do it, then it's for us to make sure that we provide the experiences that allow that student to bridge the gap between where they are and where they need to be in order to handle the rigors of college work.
Doctor, let me ask you, this is a significant issue in all seriousness. There are many, many students who are facing challenges. How many are we talking about? High percentage?
Yes. I think there's roughly 60 to 70% of students out of the high school who are not college ready.
Really? And your organization is partnering with high schools.
Correct.
Describe that program, that initiative.
We started that in 2013. The Office of the Secretary of Higher Education allotted us a large grant. We got all 19 community colleges on board, established over 65 partnerships throughout the state with high schools. We had over 900 students enroll. 48% of those students became college ready. The other 52% significantly moved up the developmental course sequence to get them closer to being college ready.
What are the keys to that program and why it's been so successful?
Well, it's really showing students that they can.
What does that mean?
They can get college ready and they can be successful when they get to college. Through our New Jersey Council of County Colleges, we've been looking at data, and the data shows us that if a student gets to college ready,
Go ahead.
they have a 70% chance of attaining that associate's degree or transferring to a 4-year college. 70%.
70%. Now, I hate to do this, but you know I have to follow up. If they're not.
If they're not.
What do the numbers show us? I mean, these are people. I shouldn't say numbers. What's the reality for Eddie's shaking his head? for a high percentage of the young people who are not ready, what is the likely outcome?
Well, we know it's trending that there needs to be some kind of credential after high school, whether that's a certificate, whether that's an associate's degree, or whether there's a training. And so we need to educate our residents, our youth.
Yeah.
They are the future. They are the future leaders.
But Eddie, I'm going to ask you, because you're in the trenches every day, you
sir.
see it. So tell folks who may not understand, how serious this is. If we as a society, listen, parents have a responsibility, but the rest of us have a responsibility as well. For young people who do not get the opportunity, you're going to be talking about your experience. You're going to be doing very well, making a huge difference. But you made a decision early on at at your school, at Westside, right?
Newark Early College.
Right. You're over at Eastside.
Yes, sir.
Right. Other ends of the city, different experiences, but trying to achieve the same thing. What are young people facing who do not have the opportunity to get ready or are not ready for college? What are they facing?
Well, we all know what they're facing. They're facing.
No, not everyone does know.
Well, they're facing closed doors if they don't get past a certain point. And the difficulties at my school, Eastside High School,
Describe it.
Is we have a diverse population.
Who are those kids? Because these kids
They're
come
coming from all over. They're coming from all over. Now with One Newark, they're coming from all over the city. But traditionally,
One Newark is a program that has children from all over the city going to different schools.
They can choose whatever school they would wish to go to. Eastside is now the biggest comprehensive high school in Newark, and our numbers are now, at this point, around 1,700 kids. We are the biggest high school in Newark, and the diversity of the population is astounding because we have kids coming in from all over the place throughout the school year.
Well, hold on. What is the correlation between diversity, where those young people come from, what their country of origin is, what their first language may be, and the issues we're talking about?
Well, I speak to this through experience because I didn't speak English until I went to school.
Your family's from Italy.
Well, yes, we're from Italy. And there was no ESL in 1975 in East
English
Orange.
as a second language.
Yes, and there was certainly no Italian teachers in East Orange, New Jersey. But the kids that I see coming in at Eastside, most of them have those types of barriers in their way. First, language barriers.
Right.
Then barriers in the culture that it might not necessarily be a thing to go to college. There's a thing to go to work. And the different expectations of the new immigration process wherein these kids are coming into, these kids are also acting as they have one foot in America and one foot in their native culture, and so they have to act as a bridge for their parents. So they have all these challenges. There's a lot of pressure on these kids, and sometimes they feel they're not there and they're not here. And what we try to do at Eastside, with Dr. Santos and especially with Mike West, who really is the on the ground man there, is to create this sort of training within the school, telling our kids these are the expectations that are out there. These are the things that you need to do, and we're here to help you. We're here to build a bridge to that thing within the community to the college.
And Stacy, your experience.
Well,
By the way, when did you know you wanted to go to college?
I mean, I knew I wanted to go to college when I applied to go to Newark Early College. So, yeah, I actually...
How old were you?
Like 13.
13.
14.
Your mom's a nurse?
Yeah, she's a nurse.
Did she influence you?
Yes, because, I mean, seeing her go out to work over and over every day, just to make sure that me and my brother's okay, it's like, okay, yeah, I got to do what I have to do in school, too. And I actually took the acupuncture in 6th grade when I went to the program. And
the College Readiness program.
Yes.
Describe the College Readiness program.
I mean, it's enlightening. Like, it's an issue, because I go to Westside. It's 3 schools in one building. So we have like 20 kids in a classroom, 20 and above, sometimes a little less, but a lot of times more. So it's no one-on-one. It's not time for the teacher to be like, okay, you have it, you have it, you have it. It's not a lot of that. So I'm an A student. When my first time going to the College Readiness course, I had an English class. So I'm like, I have this. I'm an A student. But I got there and it was like, I wasn't all, I expected I was. It was still things I had to learn. So, I mean, that's another thing, too. It helps us get ready for that college atmosphere. It's rigorous. It's a lot of things that go into it, and it's a lot of things that students need to learn.
Well, let me ask you this real specifically. Some of the courses, some of the classes that you've taken that have really helped you, that you believe will help you be a success in college are?
The English classes, of course.
English classes.
And I want to be a lawyer, so that's something I pretty much need.
So let me ask you this. Being on public television, on FiOS, in a situation like this, make you nervous?
Not really.
What does that tell you?
She's confident. You know.
What does it tell you when you see her out here like this?
She's a star.
She's a star. So it's interesting. Being college ready also means being prepared to go in and do the college interview. And funny way, this is part of it, isn't it?
There's something else. It changes the trajectory
What does that
of
mean?
a student's life, right?
Yeah.
So you look at some of these students who are in very high poverty areas, and she mentioned that her mom is a nurse, and she said, yes, I watched mom go to work. So her mom did something, and now she's on a trajectory to do something even greater. And her brothers will probably as well.
Role models.
Exactly.
You know, you mentioned before about what do we do to get the students prepared. You know, we find that most of the students, we test over 1,100 students.
By the way, describe your population in Essex.
Our population is about 85% black. You have a substantial Hispanic population, and then you have Near Easterners, Far Easterners. We have a pretty international.
From all over the world.
From all over the world.
Go ahead.
You know, but what we found is that we test over 1,100 students. And of those 1,100 students, I would say 78% of them need remediation in at least English or math in order to get to college level. Wow. And when we go into the high schools, what we try to do, we find that most of the students that are come through our program have been disconnected. For whatever reason, you know, they had to work while they were in school. They had younger family members that they had to take care of. You know, they had a lot of different things that disconnected them from the life. And we try to give them little vignettes of success in the academic area. That means that you if a student tests and they have an English a writing deficiency, we concentrate on that deficiency. We give them a course that helps them do that. We put them in a lab that reinforces their learning. We give them a tutor, you know, that works them through that until the student sees that they can do it. And once they get that little piece of success, that's all they really need. You just have to point them in the right direction.
But what about all the economics of this? I mean, how expensive is something like that, and where's the money coming from?
Well, we did receive money from the Office of the Secretary of Higher Education.
This is state money.
This is federal money. Federal money
from
a grant, yes. And
it's interesting how people say the federal government has no role in education. I find that interesting in light of this conversation, but I'm not going to get political, but go ahead.
We also had the Commissioner of Education dedicate some grants to their high schools to partner with the county colleges. And then just recently, we received a grant from the Prudential Foundation, at which they targeted Essex County College, and we're going to be providing them with some funds for their programming. And they actually not only do great work with their program, but they have a wait list. And so that was another thing that, you know, the foundation heard and said, there's a need.
The Prudential Foundation.
That's right.
So hold on one second. So instead of, this is interesting, so if done well, before you go to college, these college readiness courses, Eddie, can take some pressure off a student who then enters college, who may then feel tremendous pressure to be taking college readiness courses when he or she is in college, and then spending money and then the time to be in a college readiness course while he or she is in college.
Well,
am I making too much of that?
No, not at all, because at Eastside what we do is actually, by the time the kids graduate, if they've fulfilled all the requirements that are required, they actually graduate with an associate's degree. So they've done...
What's that cost a student?
It's 2 years of college.
No, I mean, that doesn't cost them nothing?
It costs them nothing.
How valuable is that? That's incredibly valuable.
This is our clarion call to the parents saying, look, you are saving 2 years of a college education if your child is dedicated enough.
How responsive are they? How responsive have the parents been to that?
Once more, it's an act of faith. Even if you say this to a parent, as you pointed out before, the child maybe needed to come home to take care of a younger sibling. The child maybe needed to go to work at least part-time. The child may be needed for a host of differences. They may have their own issues going on. But if they do it, these children at the end, we had a cohort go through about 3 years ago.
A group of students.
A group of students go through about 3 years ago, and now they're coming back and telling the kids, stay. Have faith, because it is an act of faith. It's an act of faith. That's why a lot of the kids, I see them, they're, you don't want to sound like a Hallmark card, they're heroes. It's because they go through these things. They go through these things, and you say, with a host of issues going on at their homes, and you know about them because you actually, I teach them during the day, and I know what's going on, and I see them fifth period come back for art history or history, and they sit there, and they're incredible.
I'm just trying to picture this, and I hate to harken back to this movie. I'm never sure how much of the movie Stand and Deliver is really true or not. With Jaime Escalante out in Los Angeles, right? Remember the scene where he goes into the young girl's home and he's trying to teach them math. I mean, like high-level math, because nobody ever really believed in those kids in that section of Los Angeles. I believe it was Los Angeles, right?
It's LA.
Remember he went to the young girl's home and she was a waitress at the family restaurant. You know what I'm talking about?
Remember, and he sat down with
and
them.
He sat down, and the father said, no, we need her to make money here. And he said, no. You remember the scene, right?
Yeah.
And he had to convince the parents.
He said, she's one of our best students. And it didn't, that's happened.
Is that
happened to
Is
me.
that analogous to what you're talking about?
It's absolutely analogous to what
Jump
I'm
back in.
talking about.
One of the things that 85% of the students in our program are first-generation college students.
Explain to folks what that means.
That means that no one in their family, their immediate family, has had an education on a post-secondary level. Some of them might have graduated from high school, many of them didn't graduate from high school. So they, don't necessarily get the kind of insight and the push that Stacy got. So what we have to do is we not only approach the student, but we bring the parent in also. When
What's that conversation sound like?
It sounds like this is what you have to do when you're parenting a college student.
Because they don't know.
Because they don't know. No. So you have to tell them, these are the things that you have to do. These are things that are kind of important. This is why study time's important. This is why, you can't pull a student out of class.
But she's got to take care of her sister. She's got to take care of her brother. She needs a part-time job.
So
and you've been, by the way, you've been accepted to Rutgers.
Yes.
A great university.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And that's another thing, because I actually got paid to go to school in the summer, too, for the college readiness courses. And
that was through the program?
And it was through One Stop.
A One Stop?
The One Stop Jobs program, sponsored by the city. And in most
the city
counties,
of Newark.
Yeah.
Most counties have One Stop Jobs programs for summer jobs for youth. And what we were able to do was to get our...
At Essex County.
At Essex County.
Right.
Our program, we got the Essex County One Stop program to define our program as a work site. And as a work site, then these students can go to our Summer Bridge program, and that would be their job as long as they met the responsibilities of One Stop. And that kind of income solves a lot of problems in terms of transportation, food, little things that the student, clothing.
Stacy made a big difference.
And it did, because a lot of the issues is, okay, summer, I have to work, I have to do this, I have to do that. But it takes off, like, okay, you go to school, we pay you. You come to class, you get money. I mean, it's not going to happen in the real world, but this is something that's the issue. The kids need to work. Sometimes their parents can't do it all, so they have to help out, and it solves the issue. Okay, we'll pay you. You come to class, we'll pay you. So it's something that was beneficial.
What would you say to people watching right now that say, hey, why do all these kids need all that help? My kid doesn't get all that help, you say. I'm serious.
Well, I think...
Because there are people watching that think it right now if they don't say it out loud.
I think it's one of the pitfalls. I think it's one of the pitfalls not to ask for help. I think everyone that's made it and is successful at some point in time has had to acknowledge that help is okay. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to acknowledge that maybe there's a deficiency. It's okay to do that. There's nothing wrong with that. There's so many people out there that want to lift you up. I've been at every single one of our, our county colleges, and every single one of them is unique and special. And there are people there with passion inside to help to help those students be who they are, to help them get to that next step, whether it's a Rutgers or anywhere else in the world for that matter.
You know what's so interesting about it? Literally just yesterday, our son Nick, who's 13, he has someone who works with him on certain subjects from school. This young man is actually, who works with him, is a senior in the high school, in the public high school he goes to, who's also, I believe he's going to Harvard in the fall, but he also has a business where he tutors kids. Fascinating young man. The point of the story is Nick has this tutor, and our other son has a tutor to help them with certain subjects. I'm sitting there thinking to myself how fortunate they are and many other children in certain suburban, more comfortable situations that have all these opportunities to, dare I say, get college ready. And so my point is, being college ready, that is what many of us have been doing and are doing with our children at 11, 13, 15. Isn't this the same thing, but for children who may not have those same opportunities?
Yes.
Eddie, is that a bad analogy?
No, I think it's a very good analogy. I think one ceases to be moral when one ceases to have imagination. What I mean by that is that if these kids don't imagine themselves in a better place, they can't put themselves on a path. And for the people watching and saying, well, why can't my kid have that? But your kid has other things that you don't even consider, or you may not even consider.
Like?
Well, like what you were just talking about, like two parents sitting and helping them. Two parents sitting and helping them do homework. One parent sitting and helping them do homework. Reading. Not being born with another language as your primary language. I mean, these are things that I know a lot of people out there. Believe me, I'm an immigrant. I'm not an immigrant. I'm a son of immigrants.
You're first generation.
I'm first generation. Yeah. I'm a son of. Are you first or second? Third. Second.
Second and third.
Second and third.
Yeah.
I'm first.
So
you're first. You're proud. So let me ask you something. So for you, I'm curious about this.
Mm-hmm.
Italian is a whole different, fascinating ethnic thing. Where did the genesis for you and your education come from? Because it wasn't always there in the neighborhood I grew up in.
Sister Marie. She's taught me how to speak English. And Sister Marie recently died last year, and I went up to Villa Walsh to pay my respects. And the Filipino nuns up there were shocked to see me. And I said, she gave me a future.
Was this down Neck?
No, it was in East Orange. East Orange, St. Joe's in East Orange.
It was St. Joe's. I was at Essex Catholic. My high school doesn't even exist anymore.
Seton Hall.
Seton Hall. I didn't have the money to go to Seton Hall.
I don't know how my father did it. I don't know how my father did it. And that's the thing.
But talked about getting college ready, right? So go ahead.
You know, but a lot of people need to understand college ready, it means getting a person ready for life.
Well, that's college ready. That's not life ready.
No. I mean, the life requires, in order for you to have a decent quality of life and achieve some of the goals that you want, education is essential. I mean, everybody buys that thesis. And what parents have to understand is that you can't make the assumption that what you had, you assume that everyone else has, because you have to look at the student, and you have to assume, number one, that student has the ability to go as far as anyone else have given the right opportunity. You have to look and say, what does it take? If I have to put this student in a job and pay him a salary to get him a college degree so he can become a tax-earning, well-employed, contributing citizen.
That's
for
everybody's
the rest of his
responsibility?
life. That's everybody's responsibility.
Is college ready, life ready?
It begins there.
It's certain skills.
Hold on, I'll come back to you. How is college ready? You believe what Arthur is saying is accurate? College ready is...
For some students, yes.
Well, if a student does want to go to college, if he or she wants that for their life, a big part of their life, then college ready and everything that means isn't purely academic.
It's the foundation. It's part of the foundation. So I used to tell students all the time when I met with them, you have to have a really strong foundation. Think of a house. If you build it and the foundation is cracked, what do you think is going to happen after that house is built on top of that foundation? So I used to tell them about building that strong foundation when they were in their English classes, in their oral communication classes, in their math classes, because math is teaching you critical thinking, and you're able to communicate verbally, and you're able to communicate in written form. And if they don't have those skills, what's going to happen to them when they get out in the workforce? And when we talk to our employers, what do they say? We want people who can communicate in written form and verbally. We want people who can think critically. And that's what the employers really want, right? Including time management skills and all those other things.
This isn't just
It's the
college ready.
foundation. That's right.
This
It's
is
the
work ready,
foundation.
life ready. This is what you're getting.
And it is, and it's certain skills like being able to work together. You know, something that was really like important was, you know, in my school, I'm used to everybody. I know everybody. I'm cool with everybody, you know? But when we get there, it's like, I'm around people I don't know, I never seen before in the program. And what made it real, like, crazy is that we all got along and helped each other out. It's like we were a family, even though, like, we just met each other in a crazy way. We, like, okay, you don't get this, let me show you how I got this. Because, you know,
amazing.
sometimes, like, a teacher can teach you, but certain people will get from with the teacher, but then your peer can help a peer more than a teacher can. And that's in everywhere. And, you know, okay, let me see. This is how you do it. You know, this is how I got it. And then it's like we move on from there.
What did it help you do? What did it help you learn? What did you take away from that?
Like, you know, like being able to work with people, because I talk a lot. I'm very talkative. I'm very opinionated. I'm always the leader. So it kind of helped me, like, tame it down a little bit. You got to know how to work with people, work in groups, you know.
The preceding program has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence, and 13 for WNET, NJTV, and WHYY. Funding for this edition of Caucus New Jersey has been provided by NJ Best, the New Jersey Education Association, Wells Fargo, Suez, Holy Name Medical Center,
Qualcare Inc.,
and by Cone Resnick. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area. Caucus New Jersey has been produced in partnership with TriStar Studios.
What is your child's dream for the future? Doctor? Teacher? Architect? Whatever they aspire to be, a college education may realize those dreams. And NJ Best can help. It's the college savings plan specifically designed for New Jersey families. Start saving today with as little as $25, because now is the time to invest in their future. To learn about NJ Best 529 College Savings Plan, its investment objectives, risks, and costs, read the Investor Handbook available at njbest.com.